Following the successful 2023 Cypher, they held yet another edition, an exclusive 2024 listening party for the Cypher. Headlining the show were Calligraph Jones and famed Tanzanian rapper Young Lunya. Miss Earth Kenya 2024-2025 commenced, and the finalists took center stage for the introduction of dance, where the models gracefully set the energetic tone for the event.
Yes, ma'am. Ati you are sa.
Tayago anasema sangabi sai.
You are unbelievable.
Jamaa sunde? Makitango?
Habari ya mumeo.
Acha na mumeo hapa ni biashara.
Sasa
Endo kakope huko mnakopanga. Na mimi nikikuongeleza lazima uniangalie.
Mbona mimi nienda kwa kazi na wacha kuniconfuse wewe.
Oh my goodness, this is very nice.
Good afternoon. It is exactly at the top of the hour. Welcome to our broadcast on this, the 22nd of July 2024. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The co-anchor is Ann Wangeshi. And this afternoon, we have a lot in store for you. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 1. And we want to start off this coverage of this bulletin by the National Police Service Commission that has commenced interviews early this morning for the 8 candidates shortlisted for the position of a Deputy Inspector General of Kenya Police Service and Administration Police Service. Now, the Commission's chairperson, Elid Kinuthia, says the exercise is a competitive and gender-sensitive. Members of the public have been invited to submit any information relating to the shortlisted candidates so that the public participation is achieved. I want to take you there to that proceeding that was earlier on. Let's listen in to the proceedings where the Police Service Commission was conducting interviews for the 8 individuals.
Here today to do exactly that. We are beginning the day. We have a long day. We have 8 candidates whom we shall be interviewing today. We did publish in the newspaper Friday all the candidates for the entire public to see as part of the requirement or constitutional requirement that we have to go together and move along with the public in whatever we do. It is one of also the principles and values of governance that we have embraced. So your participation here is also part of public participation, and that's why we said we let you know what is happening. As you are all aware, the position of the Deputy Inspector General, National Kenya Police Service and Administration Police Service fell vacant some days ago. And as per the requirement, the office is now under a caretaker, a temporary caretaker. And the law requires that immediately the appointing authority declares that there are changes in that office. My office is mandated by the law to exactly take 14 days and give a report to the appointing authority on a suitable candidate that we will be recommending for substantive appointment to this position. So the process that the Commission is undertaking here is a competitive recruitment, competitive filling of a vacant position, which is guided by the law, and more specifically, Section 14 of the National Police Service Act, and also Article 232, Line 1G, which requires that the Commission or the Parliament or the President, whenever an appointment or a promotion is being done, it must be done in a competitive way, where the position is declared and all those who feel they are competent, they are ready to do the job, they are invited to express their interest in the job. So we will be seeing the candidates one by one. It is a normal interview. We will be taking them through a structured process of engagement to try and evaluate their preparedness and their readiness to perform in the office of Deputy Inspector General. Along with that, you are also aware that we have gone through some previous process. We have already shortlisted the candidates. We did publish all the candidates who applied for this position, and we went through the first stage of selection and shortlisting, so that from about 38 or so applicants, we have singled out 4 best for each position. So there will be 4 candidates for the position of the DIG Kenya Police Service. There will be 4 candidates for position of DIG Administration Police Service. We have tried to do our best. This is an internal competition of our staff. There is nobody who comes from outside the police service who is qualified to compete for this position. So we are dealing with our staff, staff whom we know, staff whom we have seen perform, and we know their competencies. Because the requirement for this position, you must be a serving police officer who have attained the rank of Assistant Inspector General and above. And therefore, among all those who are in that rank, they were open and free to compete for the position. We will be looking at all-round person, a good leader, a good commander, a person who can be confident to lead the officers of other ranks below, and also a person who can be able to lead change and reforms in the National Police Service, as you are aware that there is a lot of reforms that are ongoing right now in the National Police Service. I also want to say that the things that this person will be expected to do once you become successful is also among them to be able to make sure that the morale of the officers, the leadership of the officers, the guidance of the officers is also done as per the requirement of the law. He will be in charge of formations and units within the service. He will also be in charge of the men and women in uniform who are distributed all over this country. So it is a very serious and competent job. We are doing part of this process. The law and the Constitution requires that a Deputy Inspector General is appointed by His Excellency the President on recommendation of the Commission. So we are not completing the process by ourselves. We are doing the part that Commission is supposed to do to find the most preferred, the most suitable candidate, and we make recommendations. And from there, the appointing authority will also do his other part. It is good for you to also know that we have, among the candidates, we've tried to have a gender distribution to the best that we could. There are men and women who applied. We'll also be meeting candidates of both gender, women, and also men.
That was a press briefing at the Kenya School of Government by none other than the National Police Service Commission Chair, that is Eliud Kinuthia, in the search for the next Deputy Inspector General of the Kenya Police Service. 8 candidates have been shortlisted. Of course, they will forward several names to President William Ruto for consideration for the next DIG. Our reporter Yusuf Farah is following up on that particular story and will duly inform us in our subsequent bulletins. From the capital, let's head over to Meru County, where a section of Meru MCAs have opposed the proposed motion to impeach Governor Kawira Mwangaza even after having signed in support of the motion to impeach her. The 10 have now made a U-turn, asking the mover to withdraw the motion and allow dialogue between the two arms of the government. Now, they claim the motion was rushed, adding that a proposal for a dialogue that was supposed to be spearheaded by the Njuri Cheke Council of Elders and religious leaders had not been conducted.
2 years. In fact, we've impeached our governor more than 3 times. And today, a section of us felt that it is important that we revisit and we look at more avenues instead of going the impeachment way, because we do feel that maybe the problem that we have in Meru, it's not in the impeachment.
Masikitiko yangu tulienda kwa naibu wa rais, tukaenda kwa rais, na rais akachagua jopo kazi la Njuri Cheke na pia viongozi wa makanisa ili wampelekee ripoti. Ile ripoti iko tayari kulingana na vile ambavyo tumeelezwa, iko tayari, lakini yamfikia rais. Kwa hivyo mimi shinda yangu kubwa ni vipi tunaweza kuweza kwenda kinyume na ushauri wa rais, tulete mswada mwingine sasa bungeni wa 4 bila kufuatilia vile mashauri ambayo tunapewa na rais.
Sasa tunashindwa, haraka ni ya nini? Tungepitisha hii budget kwanza, mwananchi wa Meru awe anafanyiwa kazi, alafu sasa ndio tuendelee na hiyo maneno mengine kama hakutakuwa na amani. Lakini sisi tunasema hivi, hatukatai impeachment, ni kazi yetu kama MCAs. Lakini impeachment nayo lazima ujue ni kitu gani inafaa kukuja kwanza ndio tuende kwa hiyo ingine.
We'll be keenly following the proceedings in Meru County and also duly inform you. Now, a section of leaders from Embu County have called on the members of the National Assembly to thoroughly vet the new cabinet nominees named by President William Ruto. Speaking at the 25th anniversary celebration of St. Jude Giti Secondary School in Mbere South, the leaders said Parliament should be keen to pass the right people for the job, citing the calls made by the citizens.
Tumeona rais ameteua mawaziri na tunasema hiyo ni sawa, lakini sisi kama wabunge kwa sasa na yale ambayo tumepitia, wale wote ambao rais ameteua, wale wote rais atateua, sisi pale bungeni tutawapiga msasa moja kwa moja, one by one, na yule yeyote ambaye yako na kasoro hatutaitikia kama wabunge.
We should listen on the thoughts and the demands of the youth because they are ours. We cannot run away from the facts that they are saying.
And in other news, a section of ward representatives allied to the ruling Kenya Kwanza Alliance are urging the youth to stop holding anti-government protests and instead give President William Ruto a chance to act on their demands. Led by Gishinga MCA Kiruga Thuku, the representatives say the protests are now detrimental to the economy and unhelpful to anybody. The MCAs have also lauded the president for reconstituting his cabinet.
We wish to call for an end to the violence being perpetuated and perpetrated under the disguise of peaceful protests. Unreasonable demands on the president and the government must cease, especially where the demands have neither a constitutional nor a legal basis.
A few individuals of contrary opinion, the constitution, the laws of the land allows them to differ in opinion. But your divergent view should not be used to say that the president should go. The president is not going anywhere because he is serving his 5-year term.
We must reflect that we need a country. The stability of this country ranks higher than anything else.
Now to a story that has elicited mixed reactions across the globe is that the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, has ended his re-election campaign and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to succeed him as the Democratic candidate. Biden, 81 years of age, said in a Sunday written statement that it was the greatest honor to serve, but his withdrawal was in the best interest of the party and the country. Vice President Kamala Harris said that she was honored to be endorsed even as Biden's decision elicited reactions from world leaders.
According to BBC, Biden's withdrawal from the US presidential race has been termed as an extraordinary decision that upends an already dramatic race for the White House. Biden, in his exit, said it was in the best interest of the party and the country, endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris to succeed him as the Democratic candidate. The November election, which before Biden's exit was a tight race between him and his greatest rival, the Republican candidate, former US President Donald Trump, has now seen the entry of current Vice President Kamala Harris. BBC says already a growing number of senior Democrat politicians and party backers are supporting Kamala Harris to be the party's presidential candidate. Biden's withdrawal from November election, which is just 106 days away, is said to have been pushed by increasing calls for him to step aside since his TV debate with Donald Trump on 27th of June. Biden says he will remain president until January. Kamala Harris, 59, said that she was honored to be endorsed, adding that she would earn and win this nomination and unite the country against Trump. While Harris has received endorsements from many big figures in the party, she is yet to be officially nominated, which is slated to happen in August during a Democratic National Convention. Trump, meanwhile, has pulled ahead in polling and was confirmed as a Republican nominee at the party's convention in Milwaukee this week, 5 days after surviving an assassination attempt. BBC says there has been a reported surge in public donations to the Democrats since Biden dropped out. Several global leaders have reacted to the news, with many of his allies paying tribute to his foreign policy achievements and acknowledged the difficulty of his decision. Germany's Chancellor Olaf Scholz posted on X saying, "Thanks to Biden, transatlantic cooperation is close, NATO is strong, and the USA is a good and reliable partner for us. His decision not to run again deserves recognition." The United Kingdom's Prime Minister Keir Starmer said he respects Biden's decision and looks forward to working together for the rest of his presidency. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he is a great man and everything he does is guided by his love for his country. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk said Biden had made difficult decisions throughout his political career that have kept the world safer and democracy and freedom stronger. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida noted that Biden's announcement is one of the US president considers the best political decision he can make.
Let's come back here to the country where researchers are spearheading initiatives in nature-based solutions in a concerted effort to combat climate change and conserve biodiversity. The director at the Institute for Climate Change and Adaptation, Professor Daniel Olango, says that nature-based solutions not only mitigate climate change and biodiversity loss, but also enhance food and water security while promoting human well-being and resilient ecosystems. Speaking at the forum in Nairobi, Professor Olango says part of the nature-based solutions include reforestation, restoring coastal wetlands, and switching to restorative agricultural practices such as cover crop rotation that support healthy soils.
Two-thirds of our population in Africa, also in Kenya, depend on the ecosystem and environment for their livelihoods. And at the same time, these particular ecosystems are being degraded by climate change. We can actually build the resilience of all of these systems in all the sectors, water, energy, you name it, using nature-based solutions. In other words, having nature work for us naturally the way it would, and having it balanced with engineering and with other aspects.
I look at this as a big opportunity, what is happening here, to bring together different players in this industry, which is still very new in Kenya. And one of the most important things is to look at internships, the job creation that can come here.
My call to action will be to encourage other people to try and find ways to work with nature-based solutions, basically. Find ways to turn waste into useful material so that at the end of the day, plants, when they start, when they go bad or at the end of shelf life, it's not the end of it, but the beginning of a solution that will be more beneficial to the community in terms of even financial, since it's more affordable since you're technically using waste, and also to the government to try and bring up policies that will enable startups in this space, in the renewable energy space, to be able to grow and provide a conducive environment.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Livestock Producers Association has lauded the nomination of Andrew Karanja to be the Agriculture Cabinet Secretary. Association CEO Patrick Kimani, while hailing the president for nominating a career agriculturalist, urged the nominee to prioritize enhancing farmers' access to quality and affordable farm inputs. The livestock producers also want the Agriculture Ministry to support farmers with affordable credits.
Kenya Livestock Producers Association welcomes the nomination of Dr. Andrew Karanja for the position of Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development by His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto.
Na tukakubaliana kwamba yafaa tuwafahamu na tuseme kwamba akienda through parliament na apita, ukweli ni kwamba tutampatia support kama wakulima wa mifugo.
And in other news, the body of a teenager has been found dumped at a kiosk opposite the Mathare Youth Sports Association along Kangundo Road. Residents have called on the police to investigate the incident, even as they urged parents to be proactive and ensure they know the whereabouts of their children at all times.
It's very discouraging to find the bodies of young people. Na wale watu wako na hiyo mchezo, I think is a very dangerous trend to the country. Lazima tujue chanzo ya hii kitu inatoka wapi, and why are we killing each other? Shida imetoka wapi? We should be told who is behind all these things so that we know our future.
Wazazi wakuwe very careful na watoto wao, na mtoto akitoka ujue at least anaenda wapi. Na ukiona amekaa kama hujamuona, tafuta, enda hata polisi, endo report.
Our condolences to the family, friends and relatives of that particular family. Also, the minority and marginalized communities in the country are calling on the president to consider them in the remaining batch of the cabinet secretary positions. The group has also called on the youth to end their weekly street protests and dialogue with the president.
Wamefunga shughuli za watu kuandikwa na hatujapewa nafasi za kazi. Na jambo la mwisho, ningependa kumwomba rais wetu mpendwa William Samoei Ruto, katika nafasi ambazo zimebakizwa za mawaziri, tafadhali rais wetu na kuomba utupatie minorities nafasi moja au mbili na tutafurahia na kukushukuru sana.
When communities ask for their unique representation, they are not advising or advocating for division. They are advocating for protection of that unique culture that we all associate with.
Stakeholders have called on the government to provide free sanitary towels and adequate facilitation to schools in a bid to enhance quality education for girls across the country. Speaking during an alumni meeting at Oyugi Ogango Girls High School, education advocates led by Emily Achola says despite progress in overcoming barriers such as teenage pregnancies and FGM, the increased cost of education has seen many girls, especially from humble backgrounds, dropping out of schools.
Girls can be independent, reliable and self-sufficient. That's the message I'm trying to pass, because if we bring our children with those culture, our girls with that culture, they will not be attracted to the male attention that they get around. Those are bad attention. There is so much of that to have when you are grown up.
We need to be encouraged that ladies can grow to be people of substance in the society. They should not just look into boys thinking that only men need to get education, but ladies also need to get education.
Environment champions in Malindi have called on the Kilifi County government to set up segregation bins for drug users who are under the methadone program at the Malindi Sub-County Hospital to dispose of used syringes. Speaking during a clean-up exercise, the stakeholders disclosed that the disposal of the syringes and other medical wastage in the open air is a health hazard. Kilifi County Executive Committee member for Health, Peter Morogo, who took part in the exercise, said the medical wastage were a major challenge but assured the residents of addressing it.
Tumeokota masindano nyingi, tumeokota pia biohazard nyingi kwa hii barabara ya hospitali. Pia tumeona kuna watu wengi sasa wamemove kufanya biashara zao hapa kwa hii ukuta.
We are focusing on pollution, different kinds of pollution, and also sensitizing the public on their responsibility towards air pollution, which happens through burning of waste, plastic pollution, and all the other types of pollution.
Mafunzo kama unavyojua pale kuna kile kituo cha methadone, tunajaribu kuwapatia mafunzo kuhakikisha kwamba kwanza kabisa wanajirekebisha na tabia hiyo, na pia kuhakikisha kwamba wale watu ambao wanasafisha mji kuhakikisha kwamba hizo waste kama zile zinashughulikiwa na kuondolewa haraka.
And in other news, stakeholders in various sectors have urged the government to make effort to reduce the number of children on the streets in various cities and towns. Speaking in Meru County while donating food and clothes to the street, that the government's move to close children orphanages may not be effective, as some of them have run away to protect themselves from the abuse they face at home. Meru County alone has more than 250 street children.
Is we have to continue with home, but more planned and managed homes, that we don't have fake homes. We need to have homes because the children are increasing every day because of the things which are happening.
And I think this can awaken even the governor of Meru, even the can awaken them to show this is just a tip of the iceberg.
And now to a developing story this afternoon is that non-governmental organizations have been told to prove the funds they receive from donors that were expected in the projects intended and not otherwise. The Public Benefit Organization Regulatory Authority says that some organizations are currently under investigations for breach of regulations. The authority has in the meantime called on the Directorate of Criminal Investigations at DCI to probe some organization which it says are operating outside the legal parameters.
Out of the 16 organizations listed in the correspondences by the Principal Secretary of the Department of Foreign Affairs, only 3, and this one you need to note it, only 3 organizations are registered under the PPO Act 2013, whereas the rest of the other listed organizations are registered by both the registrar of. The authority has further forwarded to the DCI for the further investigations of the said organizations, PPOs that are currently in operation, obtaining the requisite registrations, and yet the PPO in question are receiving money or funding that they may not be able.
Coming days after the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wrote a letter to Ford Foundation. Our reporter Giverson Minor is following on that particular story and will duly inform us in our subsequent bulletins. It is past the hour. We need to take our first commercial break. Don't go too far. We still have more for you on the other side of the break.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. Technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Econ Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technology that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
I can already see some of your reactions coming through, especially on the story on Biden dropping his bid and other stories at this hour, especially on that recently that we've just aired on the PBO that will duly inform you in our subsequent bulletins. Continue sharing your thoughts on our social Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 1. Let's continue with informing you with other stories making headlines at this hour. Now, Kajiado Governor Joseph Ole Lenku has a violence and looting spree experienced in the county during the anti-government protest by a section of youth. Lenku said the county has suffered from which might be negatively affect the community's coexistence and the region's development agenda. The county boss, while which he said is the only solution to restore normalcy in the country, issued a stern warning to the orchestrators of violence in the county, noting that his administration will act decisively to avert such violence in future.
The county leadership, together with the county security team, will now come forward to refuse imported violence. I want to request that we take advantage of that opportunity to have a conversation so that we can address the question of corruption, the question of justice and fair distribution of the national cake, which continue to be a problem that many Kenyans are concerned.
To the education sector, where university students drawn from Machakos, Kitui and Makueni counties have started aimed at helping and mentoring students from secondary schools in the region to achieve higher academic results. The program, facilitated by the Ukamba Network VAMWEM Group, Leni Kivuva said that they were doing the mentorship to see that the levels and the standards of education, discipline and performance are And now let's get down to business. Startups focusing on environmentally friendly businesses can access low-cost credit from a pool of 21 billion shillings that the government has lobbied from the Green Kitty. Secretary Abubakar Hassan says the cash will be available within 6 months after a number of foreign investors pledge to co-invest in the Green
Fund, a government fund, which we have seed capital of $40 million to help in de-risking SMEs who are involved in green opportunities. So we want others to come on board so that the fund becomes big. And if the ticket size is $2 to $5 million, now we will be able to help more SMEs. It's a $40 million. We are trying to, we are doing road shows to crowd in other investors to make it $200 million. And the ticket size for each SME, it will be around $2 million to $5 million ticket size.
Meanwhile, the World Food Programme, in partnership with Equity Bank, have ruled out an initiative that seeks to enable World Food Programme country offices to link value chain actors in food and agriculture to financial literacy training and access through Equity Bank subsidiaries. Dr. Mukami with the latest.
Essential to sustain and improve the agricultural livelihoods that vulnerable rural communities rely upon. To climate change has become urgent. Supporting small and medium-sized enterprises in rural areas in turn supports increased employment, income, and services to further this. The partnership between the World Food Programme and Equity Bank will see farmers in the Democratic Republic of Congo trained on the agreement, signed by Dr. James Mwangi, Equity Group Holdings MD and CEO, and World Food Programme Executive Director Cindy McCain, provide training to marginalized communities by providing technical assistance to ready agri-processors and agripreneurs for impact investments offered. In addition to affordable and accessible finance solutions, the two organizations also agreed to address farmer education with a focus on managing crops to be and incorporate regenerative agriculture, crop rotation, and soil health. Part of the sensitization will cover how to manage finances, and often uncertain nature of agriculture production. The joint initiative will also provide farmers with a platform on how to mitigate food waste, obtain market access, and with facilitation efforts to transport their goods to markets. Nduta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
Front cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike has confirmed that a significant number of devices that were impacted by the global IT outage on Friday. The company, whose faulty security update caused the Microsoft Windows computers to crash around the world, is focusing to restore all systems. Microsoft has estimated impacted 8.5 million computers around the world. Details of this and other stories are in the business news roundup across the globe.
Businesses, banks, hospitals and airlines were among the worst hit, with some still struggling to fully restore their systems. The firm added that aiming at speeding up recovery of computer systems. However, CrowdStrike did not say how many devices were still being impacted. 400 flights into or out of the U.S. were cancelled on Sunday, according to aviation tracking a data platform FlightAware. The massive outage has put a of global computer networks, showing how a single glitch can cause global chaos. And meanwhile, Australia's Woodside Energy has entered a definite agreement to natural gas developer Tellurian, including its U.S. Gulf Coast Driftwood liquefied natural gas project for a total value of $1.2 billion. The transaction involves of $1 per share of outstanding Tellurian common stock, which represents a more than 75% premium to the last closing. The acquisition positions Woodside to be a global LNG powerhouse, adding its scalable opportunity to existing 10 metric tons per annum of equity LNG in. And finally, Chinese electric vehicle maker XPeng has established project houses for engineers in partnership with German automaker Volkswagen. Development process of new EV architecture. The new developments are warehouses for engineers from both parties to work together, aiming at helping them begin developed architecture, a configuration of electronic components, modules, a network within a vehicle. In the agreement, Volkswagen plans to use its new architecture for intelligent and electric cars, EVs in its biggest market. For KBC Channel 1, I'm Anne Mwendwa.
In this afternoon's edition of My Culture of Western Kenya, where the rich heritage of the Wanga Kingdom thrives under the leadership of His Majesty King Peter Shitawa Mumia. With a lineage tracing back to the 11th century, the Wanga Kingdom boasts of a profound history that the roots of African civilization. Let's delve into this story with the king, who shared insights into his royal duties, cultural, remarkable journey of the Wanga people.
Today we bring you an exclusive look at the life and legacy of His Majesty King Peter Shitawa Mumia II, the reigning monarch of. As he prepares to convene with his council of elders, a group of 4 esteemed advisors, we are granted a rare glimpse into the traditions of this kingdom for centuries. King Peter Mumia II has ruled the Wanga Kingdom for the past 50 years, than Nabongo Shitawa in 1974. Nabongo Shitawa's reign from 1911 to 1974 followed that of his father Nabongo Mumia 1849 to 1949.
Following the death of my father, the late His Majesty Nabongo Shitawa. I've therefore been on the throne for the last 50 years. And the kingdom.
This rich lineage traces back to the 11th century, when the kingdom was known as the unit. When the British colonized Africa, they recognized the Wanga's organized governance, naming it the Wanga Kingdom. King Peter Mumia II takes us on a journey down memory lane, recounting origins in Egypt. The Wanga people migration followed the Nile River. Wanga III settled. From Wanga III came a lineage that includes Wanga, Kaviakala, Mutende, Muhova, Wamoi, Sakwa. After leaving Lela in the old Nyanza region, Wanga went in search of his brother Muhova, who had migrated.
The king kingdom was not only in this area. But you know, there was this movement of people right from Egypt, following River Nile, up to Uganda. From Uganda, there was that movement until up to a place known as Lela, where and gave birth to Wanga.
Wanga's journey eventually led him to where he worked as a herdsman for Chief Mwima. Recognizing Wanga's royal bloodline, realization almost sparked a conflict, but Wanga managed to escape.
He actually disguised himself as a herdsman. So when Mwima realized that he had employed a royal, he was and almost killed him. But fortunately, the uncle, his cousin, followed him up to find out where he was. He settled in Imanga for some time, and what followed, Chief Mwima was ruling, decided to abandon his leadership.
Wanga finally settled in Matungu, where he lived in Cultural Center and Mausoleum standing serving the memory and legacy of the Wanga Kingdom. The sacred site serves enduring cultural practices, including unique circumcision, especially for the king. King Peter Mumia II explains his role as purely cultural, preserving and promoting the rich traditions of the Wanga people. His duties extend to disputes and mentoring the youth, ensuring that the kingdom's heritage continues to the Wanga community's vibrant cultural practices, from initiation rites to traditional deep respect for their ancestry and customs. The burial ceremonies of the kings are particularly in rituals that honor their royal lineage. King Mumia's vision for the future, emphasizing the importance of culture in an ever-changing world. His commitment to mentoring the youth and solving family disputes highlights a strong, united community.
It's something that is very sensitive, and people rush into courts. We encourage them to come to us.
As we conclude with leave with a profound appreciation for the Wanga Kingdom's rich heritage. Leadership of King Peter Shitao Mumia II, his dedication of preserving the culture of his people ensures that the legacy of the Wanga Kingdom will endure for generations to come. Jackie Culture.
Ambira, thank you for that particular piece. Now that is a look inside the Wanga Kingdom, and of course we'll bring you more of prepared for us in the My Culture. Now, a group of young Kenyans, it will take drastic measures, including hiding their parents' identification cards during the to prevent them from electing incompetent leaders, as they did in the speaking during a Sunday service at the Calvary Chosen Center Church in Thick to avoid being swayed by the bribes to secure votes.
Kuna mahali mnatukosea sana. Nyinyi mna tiwa unga tu. Yangu ni je, hiyo unga umepatiwa hiyo miaka ingine 5 itakuwa ikikisu. Ndio maana tulisema msipobadilika, nyinyi wazazi wetu, msipobadilika kupiga kura, tutachukua hizo ID zenyu
shilingi 500 anatumia kwa kila mtu, aende atumie hizo pesa kwa watu kama 10,000 money. Mimi nikiingia pale na nimetumia pesa, nitaingia pale kwanza niwafanyie kazi. That is where we all.
Farmers in Embu County are set their income streams through adoption of high-value crops and animals that offer more farming budgets. A program by the county government of Embu North Ward receive Hass avocado and macadamia seedlings as well and beehives worth 12 million shillings. Apologies for that technical glitch. We'll bring you that story once it is ready once more. Now, Security Exchange recorded mixed tidings in April, May and June 2024 with the equity of the bonds turnover dipped. This is according to the latest Capital Markets Authority quarterly statistics for the second quarter of 2024 that indicates the equity turnover increased by 48%. Bonds turnover decreased by 29.4%.
Activity at the Nairobi Securities Exchange during the period between April and June this year when compared to the previous 3 months. 48.91% to 28.39%. The volume of shares traded decreased 0.65%, while the NSE 3.18% to 109.49 points. In addition, decreased from 1.77 trillion shillings 2024 to 1.71 trillion shillings as at the end of June 2024. In the bonds market, the bond 29.37% from 458.2 billion shillings during the first to 323.61 billion shillings during the quarter. Alan Oko, Lunchtime News.
Now back to our initial story, where set to diversify their income streams through adoption of highly valued crops and value on smaller farming budget. A program by the county government of Embu in Kagari North Ward receive Hass avocado and macadamia seedlings and beehives worth 12 million shillings.
The program was necessitated by the need to help farmers secure other viable crops that have proven to be unreliable at a time.
We have seen our farmers focusing a lot on tea, and we want them to be able to have another crop that they, so that at any one time in the year, if you're not making money from your coffee or your tea, from your avocado, you're making money from your macadamia.
Governor Mbariri appealed to farmers to form or join cooperative societies so that they can negotiate for use collectively.
Tunahimiza wakulima wetu wote waingie katika, kwa sababu ukiingia katika cooperative society tutakuwa tunahakikisha society ya avocado ama ya macadamia na tumezia already itakuwa rahisi kuuza vitu zako through the cooperative, get bei mzuri ya mkulima.
Farmers who receive the inputs held the initiative the source of income to meet their daily needs.
Nilikuwa nimekujia mbuzi wa maziwa. Tusaidia sana. Mheshimiwa sisi Mbarire amejaribu kutusaidia sana. Barikiwa sana mgavana wetu
kwa miti, kwa mbuzi, palikiwa na ukulima yote.
Reporting for KBC Channel 1, I am Samson.
Sports. Kenya's marksman Ibrahim Dogo bagged 3 gold medals in his years as KBC International Shooting Championship held at Cleveland Pistol Club. Mombasa-based marksman won gold in Class A division and the President's category. Agnes Wangeshi bagged gold in the production category and silver in B. Isa walked away with a bronze in Class A, while Peter Kimani won Class B category. And internationally, 22-time Grand Slam champion by straight sets to world number 51 tennis player Nuno Borges in the Swiss in Bastard. Now the 38-year-old has fallen in the rankings and opted against playing at Wimbledon this summer to prioritize Olympics. The Portuguese player playing his first ATP final won the minutes and won 3 games in a row in the second to seal a 6th. The Olympic tennis tournament begins in Paris on Saturday.
Brilliant. Borges is best in Borstad.
6-3.
First ever ATP Tour title. Doing one of the hardest tasks in all of sport. Rafa Nadal on a clay court and doing it in a final. Performance from the Portuguese man.
Now to some history. Binian Gimi is the first African winner of the Tour de France points, as Tadej Pogacar of the United Arab Emirates won his 3rd overall Tour de France of the Tour de France, which started from Monaco to Nice. Now Tadej will take the yellow jersey back to his homeland after making light work of the climbs in his rival, that is Jonas Vingegaard of Visma Lease, a bike by 63. Debutant, that is Remchi of Sudal Quickstep, was 3rd general classification podium. Now Tadej teammate 4th, followed by Mikel Landa. Tadej win made him win cycling 2 biggest races in the same year since Italian Marco 98. Gemay, on the other hand, had a sensational race to win the Green, making history as the first Eritrean to win a stage at the Tour de France. The King classification was won by Richard Carapaz. Well, if you're an avid supporter of football, you do know before the season in Spain, Germany and England, the transfer market is of course interesting, especially following by Real Madrid, where they signed Kylian Mbappe, who will be next to sign a star. See, as the leagues are expected to start next month. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim, the co-anchor in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. That is all we had in store for you. Keep it of your afternoon.
Well, go on, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, eating every Monday we are but the best of smooth weight the vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and
we don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single _ Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa.
Are you looking for a brand growing outdoor advertising, simplicity, and an artistically inspired choice? Look no further. Credible reputation and experience will give you exceptional brand traction.
Bali yake,
yes ma'am.
Ati you are Tavasa.
Tayago anasema sangabi sahi.
Unbelievable.
Namasunde. Makitango. Habari ya
hapa ni biashara.
Sasa
TikTok. Get your brand on the talk with City Clock.
Technology has become a crucial. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. These help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve with. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.